Kathryn Munro, you are the Director of International Sales and Marketing at CanaDream. Thank you so much for taking the time to join me today on the Fact Up podcast.
You are welcome, Jim.
This may seem like an odd question, maybe a fitting question. How's your 2020 going?
Well, how long do you have, Jim? Because
We got all the time you need.
yeah, it started off that we were on set for an amazing 2020. It was going to be what you Canadians love to say, a banner year for tourism, for
Right.
RVing, for everything. And until, early March, and then it was very clear that things were going to be very different in 2020. So I have to say, with the benefit of hindsight, and looking back on the season that we've had, we managed to salvage a lot of really good positive things from it. We lost the entire international guest count for us, which over the last 25 years, CanaDream has built its business on the international market.
Right.
Hence why I'm in the UK,
Right.
singing the praises of Canada to all of our European and worldwide guests, and not sitting in Canada talking to domestic guests. So we had a very small domestic guest portfolio in the past, very loving and very loyal. And, they came and traveled with us very regularly, but it was very small. And of course, when Canadians couldn't travel and the international market couldn't come into Canada, we rapidly had to turn around and start talking to the local guests to encourage them to go out and explore Canada. So for sure, that was never going to make up on the season that we lost, but it did give us an appreciation of what the domestic customers can bring to Canada. And, we had a lot of fun. So, do we want this to continue for the next 2 years? Nope. Canada can't survive without the international market. We desperately need it back. But we have learned a lot, and I hope that we will keep a lot of Canadians traveling local, over the next lot of years.
A lot of people have rediscovered their own backyard here, and the staycation, has become, I wouldn't say it's become cool again, but it's become cool again. People
I think it has become cool again. All of a sudden, people love where they live.
Isn't it fantastic?
And who would have thought?
Right, and what's not to love? And that's what's frustrating about being in Canada and being Canadian. I've been in the business of promoting the backyard here for 15 years. And people are always amazed that, when they see a post or when they see an article, it's, where did you go? That's got to be somewhere exotic. It's actually a 4-hour drive north of Toronto. And they're just, right, much less the rest of the country that we love to brag about.
Yeah,
but we don't explore enough, right? I guess, when the world, a few years ago in 2008 was recovering from that financial crisis, RV sales kind of went up.
Yeah.
COVID has reignited another spike in popularity in RVs. I guess the question is why, and are you surprised at the soaring interest?
No, I'm not surprised. And I think that from the very beginning of COVID, when people realized that mixing with other people was potentially dangerous and somewhat fatal, that we had a product where people could still get out and explore their local proximity without having to cross, provincial borders or even country borders. They could still get out and have a good time with the family. And it's kind of going back to the basics. It's going back to just enjoying the outdoors, enjoying a walk, enjoying a hike, a cycle, or those kind of things. And I think we have been fantastic at making life so busy and so difficult. And it's almost a competition to who can go on the most elaborate holidays and who can make life more challenging than it really needs to be. And RVing is a leveler of all ages and all descriptions. So we provided a lot of temporary housing for people and businesses at the start of lockdown. So March and April were all really about the corporates trying to look after their workers, trying to provide tea rooms and breakout rooms for businesses. And then when May and June came along and the restrictions were starting to ease a little bit and provincial and local parks were opening up, we were then able to start talking to people about your RV can be your lodge on wheels. Take it wherever you want and just keep to yourselves. And as long as you're fully contained, you can have a great old time. And really, that's what has really captured the whole of Canada this year. And we've been delighted to welcome thousands and thousands of new customers to RVing who probably would never have thought of RVing before.
Absolutely. And, when I was a kid, the RV and kind of the family station wagon, so to speak, where you pile a bunch of people into the vehicle.
As many as you can with no seatbelts.
Right. Oh, we've all been there. That crosses borders easily, that story.
Yeah.
You know, it was in correct me if I'm wrong, it was considered to be an older people parent style kind of cool, which
Very much.
it by default the younger people would consider as lame, right?
Yeah.
What happened? Does it seem like the younger generation now is into RVing as much as kind of the older generations have been for decades?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons. One is definitely an environmental footprint, is and not flying the distance and being able to enjoy your local surroundings. And I think two is having more holidays a year. You can either rent an RV or have your own RV, and you can have 20 holidays a year instead of having one. And I think the love of outdoors and sport has really helped. The explosion of mountain biking, for instance, has really brought camper vans and motorhomes to a new level. People who, it's a bit like skiing. There are mountain biking mountains that people want to tick off. It's their bucket list to achieve. And I think having that RV allows groups of people to go together and to take off those experiences. So I think that's what's kind of turned around. It's definitely experience box ticking rather than destination ticking.
And it's more about the experience as opposed to the destination, right? It's the journey.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what makes CanaDream such a popular choice? What separates you from the other RV companies out there?
Yeah, well, I could talk for hours about our USPs, but I think there are a lot of other good competitors out there, and we are all trying to hit a particular part of the market. Where CanaDream set out really from day one was to offer guests the chance to experience Canada at their own pace. We believe our product is actually Canada, and the experience is their road trip. And we want to make that as perfect as possible for them. So what we can do is we provide the most modern RVs in the rental industry. So our RVs are up to 3 seasons old. And when you think a season in Canada is 5 months, most of the RVs are parked up for the winter.
Right.
So you've got a very gently used RV. We also put in huge amounts of effort into training our cast. So we don't have staff and employees, we have cast members, and we're all, a kind of a tribe of CanaDream. And we really believe that the service that we offer to guests is second to none. Third thing, it makes sure what goes into the RV is the best that it can be in the RV industry. I love talking about our beds, because if you're in an RV for 5 nights, 7 nights, 17 nights, the most thing that's important to you is how comfortable your bed is. And CanaDream over the years has invested in hotel grade quality products for their beds and for their mattresses, for the pillows and beddings. So everyone who experiences a CanaDream RV is almost experiencing a hotel-like sleeping experience. And when you've had a tough day out, either paddleboarding or kayaking or hiking and walking, and you get into your RV at nighttime, you've had a couple of beers, you've enjoyed your nice barbecue, you really want a comfortable bed. And CanaDream delivers on that. So, you tick the great RVs that we have, and you tick off the experience that we allow you to do. And then you tick off, some of the best RVs that are in North America. And we really focus on the detail, making sure that everything works. We provide 24/7 on-road support, and kind of guests almost feel like we're out there with them on the road. So it's those little things that people will be prepared to spend an extra couple of dollars on to make sure that everything goes well.
That all sounds very terrible, Kathryn. Which campgrounds in Canada, I mean, that they've exceeded the kind of numbers.
I know, that's crazy,
right? It's incredible. With all that said, is the RV vacation the ideal vacation for some time to come?
I think it's going to be popular for another generation. Yeah, I think if we've got young people really enjoying RVing, and if you think about them bringing up their families, they're going to be, loving it as well. And I think, I touched very gently on the kind of the environmentally, kind of astute people. I'm not for 1 minute saying that RVs are the most green vehicles to travel in. Sadly, there's a lot of work to do in the industry, and, we hopefully will be part of driving that. but you're not getting on a plane. You are looking after your own footprint, and you can be very carbon neutral wherever you go. And, as long as you're cleaning up and you're, buying things responsibly, and you're, not leaving a mess wherever you travel, then I think that will also appeal to the younger generation today, is to make sure that they are leaving as little footprint wherever they go as possible. And RVs will allow you to explore your country. Everyone should explore their country. We should really be, so knowledgeable about our own backyard before we start to travel internationally.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's all good, and there's a lot of positivity there. I realistically though, there is a flip side. What should people seriously think about before renting or buying an RV? Do you need a special license? What's the bathroom situation like? Misconceptions that people should be aware of before they invest their time and money into an RV.
Yeah, those are great questions. And I think the one thing that we saw this year was people had a desperate need to get out and have a holiday, and they hadn't really thought the ins and outs of what RVing actually means. And particularly if people had never camped before or never been in an RV before, this was a whole new world. And if you are used to flying and flopping on a beach resort and, everything's kind of taken care of you, then RVing and the kind of camping holiday was quite a wake-up call for some people.
Right.
So the first thing I'd say is plan your route. Where do you want to go? And I mean, you Canadians are very used to driving long distances, but driving an RV for a couple of hours can be tiring. It is a bigger unit on the road. So we kind of, try and encourage people not to drive much more than 200 kilometers per day, and to plan at least their first couple of nights camping, and to pre-book their campsites. So once you've got your itinerary, you can map out how many days you've got. Is that distance comfortable? The second thing, particularly with a CanaDream RV, all of our RVs are self-contained. We have bathrooms, we have food kitchens, and we have generators and furnaces, we have air conditioning. We provide you everything. You can either bring your own kitchen equipment and your linens, or we can provide everything for you. So check out, those kind of things. Most people don't want the hassle of having to bring their potato peelers and their knives and all that kind of stuff. Let us take the strain out of it for you. Let us, provide all of that. And then what you want to do is plan your activities. I think most holidays generate around what do you want to see, what do you want to do? And that's really going to help you plan your itinerary. Therein, of course, what size of RV do you want to drive? You don't need a special license to drive any of our RVs. You just need to be a confident driver. We always recommend having someone being a spotter. So whenever you're reversing or doing tight turns and corners within parking into camping spaces, make sure someone's outside guiding you in. You will never have an accident if someone is guiding you into a parking space. So those kind of things are really important. But, ultimately, Canada is chock-a-block full with amazing experiences to do. And, our kind of first preference is check out what you want to see and do. Get yourself into a campground that's close to that, and then plan your route.
Fantastic advice. That's exactly what I was hoping to get answered, because there's the romanticism behind RVing, and then there's the realistic, where it's like, well, I might have a flat tire. What happens? I might have a generator breakdown. What happens? How do I back up? Right?
Yeah. Well, there are two things which are absolutely certain with an RV that has a built-in shower and sink and toilet, is that someone has to empty the grey tank and someone has to empty the black tank.
Right.
Thankfully, our machines are equipped to make that as easy as possible. But yes, I think it would be a good thing to discuss the sewage situation and making sure that people understand what that's like. And we have a great website filled with all the kind of videos that discuss everything and show you how to do these things. So you can get your rubber gloves on and hold the kind of the pipes, and you'll understand what to do.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these are the necessities.
They are
we have to talk
the
about
basics of life.
That's it. But the other thing is, I mean, it's a proverbial question, but I have to ask it. If people are renting or buying, or especially, let's talk about renting. COVID safe, right? It become disinfected. It's all taken care of. Talk about that a little bit more. Elaborate on that, just to give people a little bit more peace of mind that what they're renting is safe for them and their family.
Yeah, well, and I think that is the benefit of renting from a very reputable company, because we have all had to put in enhanced procedures into every single thing that we do. From when a vehicle comes back and being dropped off, we're decontaminating each vehicle, we're letting it sit on our line for a period of time to, I guess, decontaminate before our cast members go into it to clean it and to empty it and then to do all the washing. And the vehicle then has its full service. And then ready for it to go out to the next guest. Again, we are using specialist equipment, specialist machinery, and we were always at the top of our game, but now we've had to go even further, making sure that there's a limited number of our cast members going into the RV before a customer would pick it up. We've had to change our pickup processes, making them a lot less contactless. Now, you can imagine people taking an RV for the first time need a really good demo. So, and normally we did them person to person. So we've recorded videos and we've got them so that people can watch before they come into us. And we're trying to make sure that people have as less one-to-one time as they need. We even do delivery and collection services where if you want the RV delivered to your home, you can have it delivered there. So you don't need to come into our station. So COVID has offered us, you know, an opportunity to really kind of do things that suit people and to what they're comfortable with. But when I have to say, the information that we now provide on our website about CanaDream Cares, which is really caring about how that guest is feeling and also about caring about how our staff operate and work, making sure that they're safe. But I can only assure you that, you know, the finished product that we provide to a guest on pickup is absolutely wow. They are cleaned within an inch of their life and you will feel incredibly safe and comfortable setting off on this vehicle.
You know, is that what you attribute the success of CanaDream since it started out in the 90s? You know, not just domestically but worldwide. Is it that attention to detail? Is it the small things?
Oh, absolutely. You know, you just need to have a look at our Trustpilot reviews and our Google reviews to see how delighted people are when they get their vehicle. You know, a vehicle that could be 2 seasons old, they're like, wow, is this just straight out of the showroom? They are absolutely pristine. And any scratch or dent or mark or, you know, anything that's happened to the RV, and anytime it comes back, we are restoring that to as new. And the other thing about CanaDream that makes us really popular is that we also sell our previously experienced guest vehicles into, you can be a CanaDream owner, and they're really high in demand because they know the vehicles have been so well looked after. Right. So it kind of works for both sides of the business. But for sure, CanaDream's quality and focus has always been there.
Yeah, I mean it shows. You know, the devil's in the details, right? It's always the small things that make the biggest difference.
Totally.
You know, you know, CanaDream has a lot of RVs to rent and purchase. Talk about though, however, the winter RV rentals, because that
now you've got me talking.
really caught my eye, because I would, you know, you know, you mentioned, and we all know Canada, 6 months of really decent weather across the country. But there's another season there that people love, and I'm getting used to loving. I mean, I'm a summer guy, but I love the winter. And if you're giving me the freedom to explore the country in the winter in an RV, I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah. Well, it is about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on going winter RVing. That's right. All I can say.
That's optional.
I am a winter, yeah, that is optional, yeah. I am a winter girl through and through, but you know, even if people don't really like the winter, I think you could be convinced with a CanaDream winter RV. So we have a range of RVs, which is called our Maxi Motorhome. It sleeps up to 6 people. And over the last 20 years, we have been custom building this RV to withstand the rigors of a Canadian winter.
Wow.
So they are built which fully insulated, the piping is fully insulated, and extra batteries go into them for the winter, and all of the fixtures and fittings for using of water, so the toilet, the shower, the kitchen sink, can all work up to temperatures of minus 30 degrees.
Wow.
So you don't have to go to a campsite bathroom, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning if nature calls. You've got everything within your RV. So your heating is on permanently, either on the furnace or running on the generator or plugged into your city power. And at temperatures of around 16 to 18 degrees, that will prevent any from pipes from freezing. So you literally have this luxury lodge on wheels to drive wherever you want to across the ski resorts, or to go cross-country skiing or ice fishing or whatever it is that you want to do this winter, or just to get away 2 hours from home into nature and enjoy the snow falling outside and having your campfire and your s'mores and marshmallows and hot chocolate. It is absolutely perfect. But the one good thing that I'll say for this year with the winter RV is that you can drive to your local ski resort, having pre-purchased your lift pass, of course, but that can be your day lodge. Once you've had the morning or the afternoon on the slopes, because the numbers are restricted within the ski lodges, come back to your RV, extend your slide out, you've got your heating on, everything's going to be warm and cozy, hang up your jacket, take off your boots, put away your skis, have your lunch, crack open a beer, and that is your lodge for just your group of people, and you will stay safe and happy and healthy, and then click on the boots, click on the skis, and go back out onto the ski resort again. So it really is the perfect way to experience the winter, and we hope that people will get the chance to do that this winter and really start to enjoy being close to nature that little bit more.
If you guys come up with a slogan and you use this, I would like some credit. And this is my slogan because you just inspired it. Après ski in your RV.
Oh, I love it.
Après RV.
How long did that take you? Have you been working on that all night?
Boom, just now. That's how my brain thinks.
Oh,
Really
okay.
on the spot. It's lame, I get it, but that
Yeah.
sounds amazing. And
No, well, last
very
year,
fitting.
me and a group of buddies were skiing at Lake Louise for the day, and we came off the ski slope, last run of the day, back out to the RV, took the boots off. We were in the car park at Lake Louise, and we cracked open the slide out, had a couple of beers. There was one responsible person drinking, but that was our après in our little lodge. And I tell you, it was the best hour of the day. We had such good fun. Crack on the tunes. You know, we've got kind of Bluetooth speakers and entertainment systems inside the RV, so you can have your own tunes going, and it's just great fun. Super, super fun.
Amazing. And it kind of leads to my next question. You know, below the surface of physically driving and physically trying to, find a camping site and physically trying to, ignite your barbecue, talk about the warm feeling that you get inside of you when you know that the RV has brought you together to
Yeah.
experience something that you'll never forget, and you'll look back and you'll think, wow, what a beautiful day, what a beautiful week that was. Talk
Yeah.
about the power the RV has to inspire those type of experiences and in turn those types of memories.
Yeah, that's a really lovely subject, actually. And we had so many guests talking to our stations this year and writing to us and putting on our review sites. Just that very fact of thank you for reigniting my passion for, traveling locally and spending time with my family. And, some of the kind of conversations and emails that we've had have been really very emotional because people have done the one thing that they have forgotten about, and that's just spending time with people. And once you've got your RV parked and you're there, there's nothing else to do other than just enjoy yourselves. And it's the really basic things that actually are good fun. It's sitting outside around the barbecue or around the fire pit. It's playing a game of cards. It's going for a walk with your son or your daughter. I traveled 2 years ago with my 3 teenage kids, and who instantly thought, I don't want an RV. I'm too old for this. Well, it was the best holiday of their life, and that's what they said. And I thought the same, because I was given time with them that they would normally be head in a gadget or in a computer game or with their pals. And the RV, just by being away, it takes you into that realm. Quite a lot of people come with us with board games and, dominoes and Monopoly and things like that. And they just have hours of fun on the drive or when they're parked up doing these really simple things. So we were super, super pleased this year by serving only Canadian domestic guests, but by the feedback that they gave us to say, thanks very much. This has been the best holiday of our life. And, really, that's really what we are there for. We are there to help people create memories.
That's lovely. That's beautiful. That's the whole point. I mean,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, does the request for Wi-Fi, the amount of requests go down as time progresses in an RV?
Yeah, possibly. I think what's happening now is that it's the adults that really want the Wi-Fi,
Mhm.
because they're trying to keep up with work on the go, and they're trying to maintain their social contact. But actually, when you take a kid and a teenager away from it and you give them alternative things to do, they're actually pretty cool with it. Yes, at the end of the day, they will want the dump of Snapchat or TikTok or whatever it is that they're on. But actually, I have found that most teens, and certainly mine alone, you give them something else to do, they're quite happy to do it. But sometimes it's us as kind of adults and parents that kind of, oh, I need to catch up with those work emails. So I think that digital de-stress, that digital detox is something which is super about RVing. Now, you can take a Wi-Fi, hotspot device with us if you want.
Mhm.
My recommendation is leave it the hell alone.
Right, right, yeah. Well, Kathryn, I'm gonna shoot you over some questions. It's rapid fire
Okay.
with Kathryn
Okay.
Munro. Okay.
Ooh, finger the buzzer.
There's nothing rapid about this. Take your time. Okay. Preferred road trip in an RV: coastal drive or mountainous?
Oh, well, now you're talking. Mountains probably, because the climb up is almost as terrifying as a roller coaster ride. Just the kind of ups and ups and ups as you're going through the Kootenays, or some of these, up to even the Whistler Sea to Sky Mountain. Just
Yeah.
absolutely, you're thinking the whole time you're going up, oh my God, we have to come down at some stage. And then when you hit the peak and you're coming over the top, wow. I mean, every time I even think about it, I get goosebumps on my arm. I love coming down the lakes at the sides of the road, the trees, just the vastness of Canada. It is just so mind blowing. That is amazing. The coastal paths are beautiful. The only challenge with coastal paths is you want to stop all the time.
Right,
So
right.
we tend to say to people going through the coastal, make a lot of stops. Be prepared to stop off in those lovely coastal towns. And the most perfect place for that is Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, all of those maritimes. Oh my God, 3 weeks is not enough in an RV road trip for that.
3 weeks isn't enough for Nova Scotia alone.
No, I agree.
Right. Most memorable RV experience?
Well, I have to say we camped at Big White Ski Resort 2 years ago, and they were it was the opening day of their mountain bike course, and we just absolutely loved it. The drive up to the Big White Ski. Normally we see it covered in 3 meters of snow, and to see it in its summer bloom was absolutely beautiful. First week of July. It was just the best day of my life, mountain biking with my kids, walking, hiking up and down the mountain, coming back in the evening after a couple of beers in the day lodge, and then just camping out there. We weren't connected to power or anything. We were just using the power of the RV, and it was just beautiful. And I think my kids would probably say that kind of ranks as probably one of their best 72 hours in the RV.
That's awesome. And they get to spend time with mom, and and you're a cool mom, man. Can I travel with you too, or what? Jeez. Movies that have an RV in them, which one do you prefer? National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation or RV with Robin Williams?
Oh, it has to be National Lampoons all the way. I thought you were going to mention another one with Jennifer Aniston, and I thought, that's a bit rude, so I can't.
No, I wasn't going to do that. I know which one
That
you're
one has
talking
dropped
about.
it. Yeah, no, National Lampoon. I'm a girl from the 70s, so that was part of my childhood.
Right. Favorite childhood road trip memory?
Oh, well, I was born in Belfast, moved to England, and then moved to Scotland. And I would say my most memorable road trip was probably traveling to the Isle of Mull in Scotland, from Glasgow. Mull is a little island. You probably won't have heard of the children's television program Balamory, but Balamory was filmed on the Isle of Mull.
Okay.
And it's got a little row of coastal houses which are multicolored, sort of the blues, the greens, the yellows, and it's just so pretty. And we had a rental cottage just on that main street. And I remember, a bit like what we talked about a wee while ago, was how many people you can fit in a car with no seat belts, with Granny doing her knitting in the back seat, and you were all crammed in. The dog was somewhere.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we've always been big road trippers in my family. My dad chose the music that we were all to listen to for the 2 weeks, and off we went. So
Right.
Isle of Mull, probably 1978 or something like that. So I'm giving away my age at this stage.
It's all good. Yeah, 29 tops. Would that be considered your favorite family vacation?
No, my favorite family vacations are always Canada. And thankfully, I've been selling Canada for, going on 22 years. So we've probably had about 40 family vacations in Canada. And I think our most memorable was probably the RV trip that we did 2 years ago. It was going to be my last holiday really with my eldest teenage son. We kind of thought we would be too uncool for him to come again. So we packed in so many things. And yeah, it was a real bucket list tick off for us. So we started in Vancouver, and we drove through the Okanagan down into Esaias and Penticton and round into Vernon. We did lots and lots of mountain biking through Silver Star, through Revelstoke, beautiful place. And then we crossed through into Banff National Park, had a couple of days Banff Lake Louise with some friends, and then dropped off our RV in Calgary. So we had about 19 days on the road, and oh, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that's an amazing part of the country. Last summer we did a figure eight style through BC, so it was the same, but we went up and then we went back down. So Whistler, Osoyoos,
Yes.
Kimberley, and
Oh,
Golden, and then Banff, and then back. It's a
yeah.
beautiful part of the country.
It is beautiful. I love, love, love that part of Canada. And there's a lot less people, in that kind of central bit. So I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, that said, when you're going on a giant road trip, what are your three road trip snacks that you have to take on every road trip?
Snacks. Oh gosh. Well, I'm a bit of a sweet tooth junkie. So I love the little gummy sweeties. So
Uh-huh.
things like wine gums and Haribos. So always have to have some of those. Um, of course, lots of bottled water, or just water that you can fill up and tap. I drink gallons and gallons of water, which is always good for having the toilet in the back of the RV, which is
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
Don't even need to stop.
Yeah.
What else? Snack wise, well, I'm not a chocolatey person, and chocolate usually melts in the heat out there. So I think probably fruit, apples, oranges, grapes, stuff like that, things that kind of are relatively healthy. I do try and eat healthy when I'm on the road. So
Right.
that would
Yeah.
be me.
Unlike me, I considered a vacation, and here we all are.
Oh dear.
I'm going.
The
But
kids would be different. The kids would be Pringles and, all the kind of juice of the world. So,
I'm 44 going on 16, Catherine. You mentioned music earlier, your dad picking the music. What's on your road trip mixtape these days?
oh, do you know, I actually just like putting on plugging in my phone and hitting shuffle,
Okay.
and you just get absolutely everything. So one minute you're listening to Bob Dylan, and then you've got Phil Collins, and then you've got Eminem, and then you've got the Spice Girls, and then mixed in the middle of that, you've got a Christmas tune,
Right.
which the middle of July somewhere. So yeah, I like a bit of that. My kids have all grown up with all of our mixed music tastes. So it could be the Bellamy Brothers, or it could be REO Speedwagon, Fleetwood Mac. We tend to listen to a lot of stuff from the 70s and then 80s. That would be my kind of favorite. My ultimate personal favorite to listen to. I'm a bit of a boy band geek,
So
so
am
I love
I.
a bit of Take That. I love a bit of Westlife.
Yeah.
Good supporting the Irish boys
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
if I was just on my own, that's probably what I would listen to, so I could belt out a few tunes.
That's what I was just getting at. Window down and just
Yeah.
carpool karaoke.
Well, window
Right.
down would have to be elbow out. Would probably be a bit of Don Henley or Tom Petty, that kind of
There
vibe.
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
What do you love most about your job?
Oh gosh, I get to travel and I get to sell Canada. So like I couldn't have found a better career in the travel industry. I also get to talk a lot, which is perfect. I can never tire of talking. So normally pre-COVID, my job would have been traveling all around Europe, and the kind of where our kind of key international tour operator partners would have been. So I would have been a week on the road, a week at home, a week on the road, and I would have got to discover Holland, Germany, France, well, Australia, New Zealand, and of course the UK, and then of course lots of Canada. So, for me, selling a product which is at the top of its range, allowing people to make memories, to enjoy themselves, it's the best thing in the world. People might have a couple of complaints. We might get things wrong every now and again, but way, way more than anything else, we create these memories which people take to their grave. And that I love being part of that. I love that CanaDream has had a big slice of that chunk. So that's so rewarding for me. And the fact that it's in Canada, a country which I'm passionate about, it's so inclusive, it's so fun, it's so open to everybody. I just love it. So yeah, I hope to work selling Canada till the day I die.
Right. It sounds like you are passionate about it. You
Just a
know,
little.
that's a little. A lot of challenges this year. What's inspired you the most in 2020?
Oh gosh, I think it's probably being surrounded by an amazing team of people in CanaDream and in our wider Apollo Group family. we are all so focused on keeping people traveling and on doing the best that we can do for the travel industry and for Canada as a destination, that, you know, we've all had our down days, we've all had our challenges. The first couple of months were cancelling tens of thousands of holidays.
Yeah.
And then the second part was booking, you know, thousands of holidays to get people going again. And so we had this massive pressure of this, you know, slump of bookings. And then we had this massive hill to climb on the way out. And the team, you know, feeling of delivering on all of those experiences. And as guests came back to us, having had these trips of a lifetime, wow, that was amazing. It really quickly made us forget about the, you know, the really tough times that we went through in March and April and May. It was kind of worth it to get to that stage. So, you know, I think there's been a lot of lessons from 2020, some that we'll really draw back on for a long time to come. You know, and for me, from home, you know, in the UK, we've been in lockdown so many times and for so long that it's the first time in 25 years I've actually been at home more than 2 weeks ever. You
Right.
know, I've been married for 20 years and my husband has never seen more of me,
Right.
but yet he doesn't want to divorce me. You know,
Right.
I think it's amazing. My kids have never seen more of me,
Right.
and yet the house has never been messier.
Right.
So, you know, we are really, you know, enjoying that time and just, you know, trying not to worry about what is going to happen, because we are super confident that it will come again and that we will travel and that we have a product which people, not only will they feel safe doing it, but they will absolutely love it.
Yeah, absolutely. My last question: where's the next place on your bucket list, and why?
Okay, so I have been wanting to RV in Vancouver Island forever, and I haven't made that happen yet. So I have promised to myself, once lockdown ends, and if there are any RVs available this summer in CanaDream, if we
Right.
haven't rented them all out,
Right.
then I am taking an RV and driving around as much of Vancouver Island as I can. As you've probably guessed, we all love biking and hiking and kayaking and all of those things. And I am desperate to get out onto the water around Vancouver Island and just see as much of nature as possible. So probably end of September-ish time, we'll probably try and pack that in. So that's my bucket list.
You know, Wanderlust for the entire podcast. I love it. It's gotten the blood travel boiling. I gotta tell you. Kathryn Munro, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me today. I wish you nothing but the best in health, happiness, and success going forward. And if you're in Canada next and we happen to cross paths, I'd love to crack a beer open with you.
Oh, Jim, in an RV, you've got it. I'll give you a yell when I'm next in Toronto.
Cheers. Thank you so
It's been
much.
my
And
pleasure. Thanks very much.
thank you so much. Take care.
Take care. Bye.